Hey, you're listening to episode 33 of the TA Pedals podcast. I'm Tristan.
And I'm Stefan.
It's painful, and I love it.
It's painful.
Yeah, I got TMJ. my jaw.
Okay.
It's all right.
You know, it's something interesting about that. Just because I don't know why, but I feel like saying it. But like, so the is it? Yeah.
Is that what you were gonna ask? If it pops?
No. There's the song "Creep." Is it Radiohead?
Yeah.
When he does the live version, like in between his verses, he stretches out his mouth like,
Yep.
because he's getting ready for that long sustain that he has like towards the end of the song. Anyway,
Yeah.
I just think that's interesting.
It is interesting. There's a lot of people who suffer from TMJ, and they told me when I was like 12, like before I got braces, that when they took X-rays and they said, "Hey, your jaw is growing incorrectly," and I was like, "Okay, what do we do about that?" And they were like, "Well, you don't need to do anything unless it starts to bother you whenever you get older." And I was like, "Okay, well, I'm a sissy, so I'm probably never going to do that." And here I am 30 years old. I still haven't fixed it, and it does really bother me. That's why it's really hard for, like, when I sing and stuff, for me to open my mouth really wide. And I had in college vocal instruction, and my instructor would always tell me, like, open your mouth wider. And I'm like, I can't. She's like, yeah, you can. I'm like, no, I can't. I really can't. And she's like, well, you're going to have to figure it out then. And I'm like, no, I'm just not going to do it. And you're going to have to, like, deal with the fact that I'm deformed. Like, it is what it is. But it really bothers me. And I guess what my orthodontist told me is the way that they would have to fix my jaw is to break it and then like put wires in it to hold it in place while it regrew properly. And I was like, I think I'm good. I think I'll just suffer until I die. Not really, but I am hesitant to do it just because it's anything to do with my mouth is kind of scary. But whatever.
I mean, you don't realize like how much your jaw, how much action it actually has.
Mhm.
Like, you can't eat without it. You can't talk without it.
That's why I don't chew gum very often either, because every time I chew, it pops.
You can't even like open your mouth without it.
That's all I got. It's not very wide.
It's wide enough. It's not
Yeah,
like you're putting
I'm functioning.
It's not like you're putting anything big in there.
Yeah. So I want to talk about some things I've been going through lately, and I think it's kind of actually refreshing to talk about for me mentally. I've been dealing with some like mental health issues, and so I have stepped away from like our social media. And so for anyone who has been wondering why we've kind of been absent, that's pretty much the reason. I needed to detox some areas of my life and figure out what was causing, like what the root of my mental health issues were. And one of those things was just general anxiety about the future. And it's like I'm constantly thinking about like the next thing that I have to do, because that's, naturally what anxiety is. It's future problem solving. And I feel like that I was trying to prepare for the future in so many different areas of my life that it was just like overwhelming me. And so I was like, I'm just going to take a break from social media and prepare for next month because we're going into peak season for the holidays and things like that, and I need to be recharged for that because I kind of put myself on a strict schedule of posting something every day, which normally that doesn't bother me. But there's just so many things going on in my mind right now that it kind of got to me a little bit. And with no time to prepare content ahead of time, it kind of just overloaded me. And if I had, I think, made content ahead of time and then kept the same schedule, I probably could have done it. But it was just one of those things that for just a little while I needed to like put to the side. Mm-hmm. So if you're following us on social media and you're wondering where we've been, that's what's going on. I needed to just take a break for a minute to take care of myself.
And it's not a big deal that you're taking a break. Like it's really not. And it's not only giving you some time to prepare and get ready for what's coming, but it's also giving me some time to do some stuff too. So,
yeah.
And, I feel like it's the stuff that we got planned for, the upcoming future is worth, not seeing us every single day.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just like at this point, I kind of feel a responsibility mm-hmm. to the people who follow us and who have kind of, invested their time, and they've looked into what we're doing and they've taken an interest in what we're doing. And then all of a sudden it's just like, they're cut off from maybe a stream of content that they enjoy. Mm-hmm. And like, so that I kind of feel responsible in that way. But at the same time, if I don't take a break, I'm going to get burnout and the content isn't going to be quality content anyway. It's just going to be me putting bull crap out just because I feel like I have to, and I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to.
I don't think anyone wants to do that. And I don't think it's fair for anyone to ask for anyone to do that.
Yeah, I agree. And
I don't think you should feel bad that you're not posting something. Like if the followers we have are the people that see things that way, then that's on them. That's not on our shoulders.
At the same time, though, I'm pretty sure they're not. I think that musicians in general understand the struggle that I'm going through, and no one has messaged me to say like, hey, stupid, why aren't you entertaining me anymore? So I'm happy to say I'm feeling a little bit better already, which is good. But I've been having some troubles physically too, which is kind of weird. And that this is kind of what I wanted, like why I wanted to talk about this, because it's kind of interesting in a certain way. So for like the last 2 weeks, my right eye has been twitching, and I know that can be caused by stress or lack of sleep or lack of quality sleep. And I think it was all of those things. It's still twitching, but not nearly as bad. But since I've started my break from everything pretty much, I'm taking a break from anything I don't want to do or anything that stresses me out or anything that distracts me from living in the moment. Mm-hmm. And so I've, not to go on a tangent, but I've just been during my detox trying to spend some time with my son, really paying attention to him. Like not just like being around him while he does things, but really paying attention and, cooking dinner and having a conversation with my wife. And, if my son's running around the living room talking and I'm on my phone and my wife's on her phone, but also we're trying to talk to each other and the TV's going, it's just sensory overload for me. And that's something that I suffer from a lot. And I think it's where a lot of my troubles have come from recently without me even really knowing it. And so I've been like, hey, like, why don't we get off our phones? Why don't we turn the TV down or off and we just talk and enjoy each other's company? And that's really helped me a lot. But back to the eye twitching thing, something that I kind of started trying to do to fix that is get better sleep and regulate my my schedule a little better. And something that I tried to do to make that happen is like go to bed earlier. And then I've tried to get into a routine of like brushing my teeth, flossing, taking my contacts out, maybe putting some moisturizer on my face and, doing that and then going to bed without being on my phone or anything like that. And, I thought it was going to help, but it didn't. And I just figured out why. Something else I've been trying to do, because it's something that helps with depression, is making sure I'm not vitamin D deficient. So for like the last 4 days, I've been taking vitamin D. But the first 3 days, I was taking 3 capsules of vitamin D. And I have 2 different bottles. One is a 25 milligram pill. The other one is a 50 milligram pill. I was taking 3 50 milligram pills, which is, they're each 2,000 UIs each. And so the night before last, I went to bed. I was exhausted. And I went to bed at like 10 o'clock. And I laid in bed all night until 5:30 when I fell asleep. And I didn't understand why. I was like, I'm exhausted. I'm not on my phone. I'm not distracted. I was just laying there breathing like deeply. Anytime my thoughts started to wander, I tried to bring it back to like, don't think, like just focus on my breathing and try to go to sleep. And I didn't fall asleep till 5:30. And then I had to get up at 7:30. And so I got 2 hours of sleep and I was like, what's going on? Like, I feel like I'm doing everything right. Well, I started to do some research on vitamin D because I know that, your skin naturally produces vitamin D when exposed to like UV light from like the sun, for example. And that's kind of what tells your body like, hey, it's daytime. Mm-hmm. And so I started thinking about it. I was like, I've been taking a lot of vitamin D. I wonder if like that's what's going on. And so whenever you take in vitamin D and your body is absorbing that, it inhibits the production of melatonin because it's saying like, wake up, it's daytime. And so I wasn't producing enough melatonin. Enough melatonin to make me sleepy. And so even though my body was tired and my mind was tired, like hormonally, I was out of whack and couldn't sleep. So I was like, well, how much vitamin D do I really need? And I need for an adult male my size and age, I need about 600 UIs of vitamin D a day. I was taking 6,000 UIs of vitamin D.
You know what's crazy?
What?
That's a perfect segue to our sponsor. Vitamin D, substitute for caffeine.
So yeah, like I was like, I'm taking 10 times the amount of vitamin D that I need to. And my thinking was like, there's small pills. I'm a big guy.
Yeah.
I can probably take 2 or 3 and be fine. Not realizing that like vitamin D is the antithesis of melatonin.
So you would want to take your vitamin D, the one of the 25s
in the morning.
In the morning.
Yes.
And let it dissipate over the day.
Yes, exactly. And that's what I'm going to start doing because my eye twitching, I was trying to solve the problem of my eye twitching and me being tired all the time. And I tried to do that by taking vitamin D and I wrecked myself. So,
well, I mean,
there's that.
If you didn't feel tired, you didn't feel tired.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, it got to the point where I was tired,
but you couldn't go to
but
sleep.
I couldn't go to sleep because my brain hadn't produced the melatonin, like saying, "Hey, like it's time to start winding down and shut down." Mm-hmm. So I just lay there breathing, yawning, and feeling sore like all night. And I was like, this is terrible.